Good morning. Thoughts from the car today. I'm really tired today, I'll be honest with you, and I don't really want to do this video today. I actually had been thinking yesterday that there was a topic that I kind of wanted to talk about, and I actually took some notes. So I know I say I do this unscripted, but I need to get some ideas down to talk about. Anyway, that topic will have to remain for another day because I'm feeling compelled this morning to share about leadership, particularly the importance of being an effective leader and emotional intelligence. As a woman who has been in a lot of different leadership roles throughout my whole life, and especially in my adult life, I have learned that emotional intelligence is probably one of the most crucial things to master to be an effective and inspiring leader. And it is often poo-pooed in many circles as being important. And oftentimes as a woman, when you're in a leadership role, you are often labeled as being too emotional. And that's really frustrating, to be honest with you. Very frustrating to share an emotion as a leader and being told you're being too emotional. And it to be labeled as being too emotional as a woman specifically. So I feel like that's a different topic. That's a side topic. But I wanted to share with you guys today what I've been learning and what I teach to others about leadership when I have that opportunity, about emotional intelligence and why it's so important to be an effective leader. I have these 5 things that I kind of talk about and try to keep in mind for myself as a leader. And I call it EECCO, and just so I can remember it. And so it's empower, empathy, creativity, compassion, kindness, and optimism. So these are the 5 tenets of emotional intelligence that I think are super important to being an effective leader. The first one is empowerment. And so, well, Brianna, how is empowerment a part of emotional intelligence? It's very much a part of it because you as a leader your job is to empower others to lead. That's what an effective leader does, is it teach leaders to be leaders. For leaders to teach leaders. Sorry, I was up really late last night. My brain is very addled. That's why I didn't really want to do this video. So stick with me. If you're sticking with me, thank you. Anyway, so empowering others to lead, empowering others to do the job that oftentimes we are delegating as leaders to others is a very important element of emotional intelligence. Why? Because empowering others means you have your own confidence and that you don't have to lead in a way that is very controlling. You can be flexible. You can allow others to make mistakes. You can lead confidently and authentically, because we've talked about authenticity, super important in leadership. That is how you empower others, is to be authentic yourself, by admitting your mistakes, being vulnerable, all these things that honestly I've been talking about for a few weeks now. These are all super important. So empowering others to be leaders and to do the thing that they're supposed to do. The second one is empathy. You have to be empathetic towards others. You have to understand that people are going to have emotions when there is an opportunity to lead, and they're going to have opinions, and they're going to get under your skin, and they're going to not understand, and it involves patience and kindness and gentleness and softness to be an effective and inspiring leader. So are you being empathetic? Are you putting yourself in the other person's shoes when they're telling you maybe there's a problem, you know? I ran against this last night where in myself, where there was just this lack of empathy with the people I was trying to communicate with and I'm part of a leadership team with. And it's very frustrating to experience that. So have empathy as a leader for other people, one that you're leading with and those that you are leading, because not everybody thinks like you. Not everybody receives things the same way you do. And it's really important that we show empathy to one another to be effective in our leadership. The next one is creativity. So creativity is absolutely part of the emotional intelligence sector, because we have oftentimes our most creative moments are when emotions come to play. It's called emotional creativity. And when you are in a leadership position and you are trying to inspire people, you have to be creative about it. You can't just go one way because it's worked for you in the past. You have to be open and think outside the box, and you have to allow for others' creativity as well. You can't just rely on your own creativity. You have to allow others to be also creative within the space. And you need to listen to multiple voices. You need to, if you're a team, you're leading a team and you're a part of a team, then the whole team needs to be creative together, because everyone has something to bring to the conversation. So creativity, super important to be an inspiring leader. And the next is C/K is compassion and kindness. So it kind of goes along with empathy. As a leader, you have to be kind, overly kind in many ways, in many spaces, because of the emotions that come into play and the authority that you carry. You have to be compassionate and kind. The leaders that I have been under in my lifetime, who've been the most compassionate, kind, vulnerable, gentle leaders, have been the most effective leaders in my life and have affected change and inspired me as a person. And we all are inspired by different things, and that's good and fine. But across the board, it's that old saying of you catch more flies with honey than vinegar. So by being compassionate and kind, you inspire others to be compassionate and kind. And oftentimes this involves so much patience and grace. And isn't that always easy as a leader? For sure, for sure. I definitely came up against this myself last night. But being compassionate and kind is going to get you much farther with people than being uber direct and rude and controlling. And then the last one is optimism. Letter O, optimism. Optimism, positivity. If you as a leader are not optimistic as to the results of what you are trying to work towards, the goal, then you're not going to have optimistic teammates. You cannot go into a meeting or a leading opportunity, a meeting of the minds, negative and pessimistic and uber controlling, without also making the other people follow that. You have to be optimistic. You have to be encouraging. You have to be positive about your results and the way in which you are going to get the results. So these are all emotional things, right? Like we have to keep our emotions in check, which requires self-control. And, self-control is hard sometimes. It's responding instead of reacting. And so that's really what the emotional intelligence comes down to, is responding instead of reacting. And honestly, we're all human and we're all going to make mistakes. But to be an effective leader in spaces that we will all find ourselves, we have to be emotionally intelligent, and we have to allow others to grow in their own emotional intelligence. And that's probably the most difficult aspect of leading. So I hope it's helpful to you. I don't know if I'm going to post this one, guys. I'm going to have to think about it, because I want to make sure that I'm conveying correctly and not just like teaching at you. I want to share thoughts and whatnot, and experiences and storytell. But I hope that as you lead today, because we're all leading in some capacity, you think about these things and maybe allow it to permeate the space that you are already leading in. So I challenge you today to think about this. Are you leading to empower through empathy, with creativity, compassion, kindness, and optimism? And if not, which area is most difficult for you, and why? Think about that too. Anyway, have a great day, guys. We'll see if I post this one. See ya.